Check podcasts.
The Bread and Butter Collective is a collection of hospitality professionals working together to help strengthen our industry to build strong culture, community, and sustainability.
I'm Kalen McNeil.
And I'm Sam Jones. And this is the Bread and Butter Podcast.
Welcome to the Bread and Butter Podcast. How are you, Sam?
I'm doing really good today, actually, Caleb.
Are you?
Thanks. Yeah, really and honestly.
Oh,
Yeah.
Not just because of our pre-show banter? Are you
No,
trying
the
to
pre-show
act all
banter is
cool now?
always good, but, sometimes I've got to be more positive.
I like
So
that.
I'm having a
Positivity
great
is
day.
good.
My daughter's coming home from Saskatchewan today.
Oh, my goodness.
My 16-year-old daughter flying all the way there.
What was she doing in Saskatchewan?
She's hanging out with her best friend's grandparents.
Oh,
They do this every
amazing.
year. They've done it for 3 years now. And her grandparents are amazing. They've basically adopted my daughter.
Oh, cool.
They're
So they're going to pay for
good to her.
university? And
I think
it's great.
the only thing is she has to go to university in Saskatchewan.
Oh,
Yeah,
boo.
I love Saskatchewan.
Oh, it's probably good.
Easy
schools
to
there.
draw, hard to spell.
Oh, interesting.
Saskatchewan.
Easy to draw?
Have you never seen Saskatchewan? It's like
Oh, no. Okay. It's
easy
like,
to draw, hard to spell.
well, you know what else
I
is
think
hard?
there should be a shirt.
There should be a shirt. Do you know what else is hard to spell?
Zamian?
Yeah. We've got our guest today, Zamian Parsons from Pacific Sunday Tour. He's
Hello,
also a
how are
local
you?
realtor
Hello.
in town. How are you, Zamian?
I'm super good. How are you guys?
Are you super
Are
good?
you better than I am? Because I was really trying to one up this.
Yeah, I mean, I have a new philosophy in life, which is basically that life itself has essentially no meaning, and it has only the meaning that we give to it. And
Deep.
so I just, when I wake up in the morning, I just decide I'm going to have the greatest day of all time, and then I do.
It reminds me of a quote that we are meaning-making machines.
Yeah, that's,
And we just create our own meaning in life, and it all comes from within.
I essentially
And
believe
purpose,
that.
too, I guess, because
Yeah.
purpose is a part of that. Right? So when you get up, do you have like a mantra, or is it just like when you wake up, you're just like the mindset switches on?
Yeah, so basically I'm studying something called reality transurfing at the moment, and
What's
the
it- sorry, what's it
Transurfing?
called?
reality transurfing. And
Transurfing.
essentially what it involves is
Notes.
thinking that there are infinite possibilities in our lives, and every decision that we make will basically cause us to go into a different timeline of our life. You
Ooh,
could get
interesting.
like I was supposed to go out for dinner last night for someone's birthday party, and then Kalen called me to do the podcast. So I canceled dinner because I wanted to go to bed early. I wanted to be fresh for the podcast today.
That's really appreciated by the way.
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean,
Holy cow, this is probably our most prepared guest ever.
Right?
so like, and what I mean by that is that I could have chosen a bunch of different paths in my life to get here, like for my day today. And I have a goal for my life, and I visualize that goal all the time, like every second of every day, essentially, because I'm always trying to stay awake and aware of every thought that I have, everything that I'm doing in the daytime. I want to be very calculated. I want to always. Here's a good example. When I wake up in the morning and I go to get coffee, I want to be the most charismatic, energetic person that coffee shop sees for the whole entire day. So when I walk out of there, I want them to think, wow,
You're nuts.
that guy's crazy.
Yeah, wow.
That
That guy
guy's
does
crazy.
not need coffee.
I wish he tipped us. No. But so, I try to live my life like that now. This has only been over the last 4 months. I'm going through a bunch of life changes, essentially going through divorce, etc. right now. And so my mental health is very important to me and something that I've never studied before. So I've always been basically had a program that was in my mind that dictated how I spent my days. And it's very routine. Everyone's in the same routine. They get up, they essentially do the same thing. Doesn't matter if you want to change your habits, it's very difficult to do. When you are studying reality transurfing, you basically, the whole point is that we only have right this second to live. We don't have the past. If we're thinking about the past, we're still doing it in the present. And when we think about the future, we're still doing it in the present. So there's no point in waiting for the future to be happy about anything. We can just assume that we have the end product already, the end goal, and then we can be happy about that right now. And that's what I do. So I already know what's going to happen in my life. Like I already have these goals. I already know that they're going to happen in my mind. They've already happened. I don't know essentially how I'm going to get there. The universe will guide me, just like I'm here on this podcast, which I had no idea 24 hours ago that I would be here.
We had a guest counsel, by the way. It wasn't-
Hope I didn't die. Yeah. So, so essentially, I'm always trying to get onto my higher timeline by always making decisions that
Advance your goals.
Essentially, I'm trying to create the person that has all of those things that I want. That's what I'm creating every
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
So, does that person go to the gym? Does that person, I'm trying.
Yeah.
not
What
to,
is that? What is that? How do you get there? And what type of person do you think would get there? And then that's what you're going to embody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I love that because I just, not to interrupt, but
No.
I've always said if you want to be the president, dress like the president. So start with intention
Really
and
long red
purpose.
ties.
See, not that president.
Oh, okay.
So we're not going to get into politics.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a similar idea, but living that in every moment, and living in the moment is another part of that, because I would think that you'd live in the moment with that philosophy.
That's
right?
the biggest part of it,
Yeah.
Kalen, is to always be living in the present moment. That's all we have. When you realize that you're living in the good old days all the time, then you appreciate your time much more.
Yeah.
I'm not waiting for the future anymore. I'm deciding right now that I'm going to be the happiest that I've ever been. It doesn't matter what happens to me today. I already know that I'm going to be happy. I'm going to take. Whenever something bad happens to me, I immediately say advantage, and I try and think of something good that can come out of that bad thing. There's always something good that can come out of it. I don't know. Can I tell a quick story? Or?
Please. You can tell a long
Dude,
story
this
if
is
you
what
want.
we're about.
Okay, so
We were tired of our dumb stories.
I I don't know why I'm telling a story. I was catching a cab early in the morning to get to Terrace, our hometown, to go back for my yearly visit. So anyways, flight leaves at 6 o'clock. I got to catch a cab at 4:30 in the morning. So I'm outside, haven't had much sleep. I call Bluebird Cab, waiting for the cab, and I see this Bluebird Cab go by and kind of like essentially like see me with a suitcase, slam on the brakes, and I'm like, okay, well, this can't be my cab, or maybe it is my cab. I don't know what's going on. So he comes over. Are you looking for a cab? I call the cab. He's coming. Oh, no, is it Bluebird? I'll just take you. And I'm going like, okay, well, this is going to be weird because there's a cab driver on their way. He essentially pretends to get on the phone and call Bluebird. So I can hear him talking on the phone. And he goes, oh, yeah, is it okay if I take this driver? Okay, yeah, perfect. And then hangs up. And then, and I'm going like, okay, did that just happen? Like, and I can see another cab like driving basically. So I'm confused, but I don't know if he's canceled my cab. So, and I got to get to the airport. So I just jump in the cab. Of course, like 4 seconds later, I get a call from the other cab driver. Hey, I've been waiting out front of your building. Like, where are you?
Yeah.
So now I'm involved in like these cab wars at 4:30 in the morning. So I'm basically like driving, and now I'm talking to the other cab driver and talking shit essentially about the cab driver that's driving me, because he's like, what's his name? What's his number? And like, there's this big controversy. So anyways, I'm annoyed as hell because this guy lied to me, and I feel bad about the other cab driver. I immediately say advantage. I'm not going to let this ruin my day like it used to. Like it used to. I would have been in a funk for a couple hours. I would have been annoyed. So I just said advantage. What's the advantage? Well, number one, I don't have to talk to this guy anymore because he was annoying.
Yeah.
And number two, I don't have to tip him.
Yeah.
So it worked out perfect. And when I got there, I kind of felt bad because I was like, well, I probably should tip him. And then he just gave me the the interact thing with no tip option. So then I felt perfect about it.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's just, I did not let that ruin my day at all. I got into the airport 5 o'clock in the morning, and my day went perfect after that. So it's all just, in my mind, is perspective and always looking for the advantage in any situation.
I like that.
Yeah.
So let's get into a bit of your backstory. So you're a realtor, right? So one of the things that as a business person and entrepreneur that I really appreciated about your real estate was when you got into producing your own movies basically and commercials, and some of them were just, all of them were hilarious. So what made you do that? Like, and again, when we talk about this thing of advantage, you're like, okay, here's the vision of what I want to see, and here's the story I want to tell. How am I going to do it? And then you just went out and did it.
And before you answer that, I've never seen any of these videos, so I don't know what you're talking about. Can you explain while you explain?
Yeah, I guess. I'll try. I had a vision for myself. I've been a realtor for, say, 17 years, and about 6 years ago, when I first got my real estate license, I played realtor. So, my dad was a real estate agent, so I got the suit and I had the briefcase and I played realtor, essentially. But about 6 years ago, I really wanted to approach real estate from a much more authentic way. And I thought that there would be room for a real estate agent who had tattoos and who didn't dress like everybody else. At that time, I think I'm, like pretty creative and essentially pretty funny.
So far, I agree. So far,
So I just basically wrote a bunch of commercials, and then like a couple of them I threw like red carpet parties like for myself. Like I put myself on the movie poster.
I love it.
Yeah. So some of my I have seasons on YouTube, so
Okay.
I'm on season 3. Like I'm supposed to be doing the season finale here pretty quick.
Or are you still doing it?
Well, I haven't done one in a while because
Yeah.
I've been distracted. But that's what I was doing. So I would just basically come up with a 30-second commercial idea. To be honest, I had a bunch of commercials on check for a while, which was really funny. During COVID, there was much more people watching the news. So
Yeah.
it was kind of funny to be on that. But all my commercials are just jokes, basically. It's making fun of realtors. I drive like a 1987 Toyota Rabbit, like in my commercials, like a kind of an old junker instead of a fancy car. Just making fun of the industry in a sense, or
Yep.
myself.
Yeah, making fun of
essentially.
yourself. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I decided, Kalen, to approach real estate much more authentically. And the thing that you realize about life is that what you think about essentially grows. And one of the craziest things that's ever happened to me is that when my focus shifted from selling real estate to developing my golf brand, I never in a million years thought that my phone would just completely stop ringing. I never thought that was even possible, but it did. And it proves to me everything that I think now. It essentially
Yeah.
proves to me exactly what I think now, which is that where your thoughts go, energy flows. And if I don't think about real estate, my phone will not ring. People will not think about me when they think about real estate. It's
Weird.
wild.
Yeah. Especially you've been doing it so long.
Exactly. I didn't switch anything. I
Yeah.
didn't. I'm not saying like I stopped thinking about it and then I stopped sending out my newsletter and
Yeah.
I stopped doing. No, like
You still
yeah,
did the same stuff. You just weren't thinking about it.
I wasn't thinking. You're right. Like I haven't made a commercial in a while, and I haven't really been present. Let's say on my Instagram as much, but I thought that I would back into 50% of my income without even trying.
Yeah.
I'm at like 2% of my income because. Wait,
I mean, I'm laughing,
like
but it's not funny.
It's awesome. Like
Yeah.
it's awesome to realize that. About a month ago, I realized this, and I started thinking about real estate more, Sam. My phone's ringing again. I just sold like 3 houses. I've got like
Listings.
life
and-
is
yeah.
crazy, and we don't understand it. But I'm starting to think that we more and more live in a simulation that we essentially create our own reality. And
Yeah.
whatever we want to create, whatever we can imagine, we can achieve. We will achieve it. There's not one single doubt in my mind that I will achieve everything that I want to with my golf brand. I will.
Yeah.
There's not a shred of doubt in my mind. I've got this far by just continually putting one foot in front of the other, no matter what happened. Way more obstacles, of course, than you possibly are expecting. That's life. That's how businesses work. And the more problems you run into, the less likely someone else will also get to achieve what you have achieved. If it's easy, the golf bag business is the dumbest business you can do. They're extremely big. They're hard to store, hard to ship.
Yeah. The costly to ship.
It's a product that you
Yeah.
have to develop essentially from the ground up. So you have to start from scratch. So it was. I knew that there was a massive hole in the market because of that reason. There's a million people making shirts because it's so easy to call China and make a bunch of shirts. But to make a golf bag, poof, that was extremely difficult.
So what was the original idea? So what made you get into the golf bag business? Like what was your you're sitting there selling real estate, you're like, I love golf. I know you golf like all the time.
Oh yeah, no, it was.
I was going
good
to say,
golfer.
are you an avid golfer as well?
Yeah, like I like golf. I don't love golf. A lot of my friends are like very hardcore golfers. I like to go. I'm not like.
Back in the
Kalen.
day.
Oh yeah, no, I did used to golf a lot, but no, I just don't have the time essentially for it. But and it's expensive, and I don't have a lot of money right now, so I'm trying to put my money where I need to. But I love what I love doing is going out in the afternoon and playing 9 holes with my friends. That's what I really like doing. Playing 18s, 5 hours. Sometimes it's a bit sluggish, or going on a golf trip with friends is also extremely fun. Excuse me. Can we like edit stuff as we
No.
go? Or, oh, perfect.
No, this is not.
No, in fact,
Don't worry.
we can only highlight
Okay,
sections.
okay. Yeah, so how I thought of this idea was my wife and I were going to celebrate our 20th anniversary. We were going up island. It was going to be pouring rain. We looked for a golf bag for her, and we spent $100 on a little pencil bag that
Yeah,
I
a
knew
day
cost
bag
like
or-
$4 to make. So when we were driving up island, we just collectively thought of the idea of making a golf brand, because I think that golf brands are all essentially the same. And I have a vision for a golf brand that's much more fun, much more inclusive. If you can imagine, there's not one golf brand that specifically targets juniors or women.
Yeah.
It's actually
Really?
it, Sam.
Wow.
The amount of landscape before me is hard to comprehend. I have all these juniors now messaging me from all over Canada because they want to be part of like this team that I'm making, and
Yeah.
I put their names on their bags, which makes them feel like a professional golfer. I went and met a kid from Dawson Creek yesterday. He's 15. Him and his mom are here. He's playing in the under-17 championships at Arbutus Ridge. She told me that I basically made this kid's millennium by he contacted me and said, "Hey, is there any chance like I can get a bag? Like I've seen your stuff, I really love it." And I said to him, "Yeah, absolutely." So I drove all the way to Arbutus Ridge to meet him, to bring him like some more swag, essentially a couple hats, some waterproof straps. So I'm treating this kid like he's already like a professional golfer. So it's giving him so much motivation
Yeah.
to play better. He feels like he's part of a team. Like she told me that he is so excited to go play golf. That's what I want to do. That's what I
Yeah.
want to create.
Yeah.
That's all I want to create. In fact, like so, I have so many girl juniors on our team now, and like so many women golfers from around the world are contacting us to be sponsored. I want to create like an overall global brand that services every ethnicity and demographic
Like every
in
niche.
golf.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not
I'm-
just rich.
I've got a dumb question because I don't play golf, but if I have a bag and it's for me, I'm 6 foot something.
Mhm.
What's the difference between my bag and a junior bag or a lady's bag? Like, is it the strap positioning to make it easier to carry? Is it the size?
Yeah, so
What makes
essentially
them different?
there's not much difference between a men and a women's bag. There would be a difference between a junior bag, essentially a junior who's like 9. But your bag will be exactly the same as the 15-year-old boy that I mentioned, because clubs are essentially all the same. If you're 6'5", your clubs are not 6 inches longer than somebody else's. They might be 1 inch longer.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's another reason why I got into golf bags, because that part of it is a pain, the fact that it's large, expensive to ship and store. But the nice thing about it is it's a one-size-fits-all product. So I don't have shirts that are small, medium, large, extra large, and I have to worry about fitting. When someone buys a golf bag, I know that golf bag's going to fit their clubs.
Okay. Yeah.
But priority is like you've designed and built a golf bag that is top of the line. It's got all the features that every other bag has. It's waterproof. So what? I know you've got some other unique things that you do with your brand and building it out.
Oh, like, do you want me to tell you specifically about the bag itself?
Yeah, just a little bit, just so our
Okay.
listeners can.
Yeah, 100%. So I made the only waterproof bag ever made that has embroidered logos and a magnet pocket. When I reached out to manufacturers originally, I had very set requirements. My bag needed to be less than 5 pounds, needed to be waterproof. I knew right away that would separate me from 99% of other golf bags. What I mean by that is, if you were looking at 2 golf bags and you liked them equally and they were the same price and one was waterproof and one wasn't, you would probably pick the waterproof one just in case you need it at some point. Secondly, I've designed full collections for my bags. They don't just come as a bag. So I'm the only company that ever has optional matching head covers, matching towel. They have a little removable crossbody bag. I went to Lululemon, got a bag that everybody wears around here, and I mailed it to China. They made that exact same bag for me, but stylized into my own golf bag brands.
Yeah.
So my Sunday World Cup collection is like the Sunday bag, but it also has like Sunday themed head covers, a sprinkles towel, and the little Sunday World Cup fanny pack. So I have options of full collections, and they're styled in vintage varsity themes. So I have like a weekend warrior bag and a gambler bag and a worm.
I got a
bag.
gambler bag.
Exactly.
I bet you do.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I wanted to marry is people's other interests with golf. You know, someone who gambles would like the gambler bag, and somebody might
Because it's a part of your personality and it's part of who you are outside. So especially say you're a bird watcher, right? And you love nature and birds. Damian's got a bag.
I've got a bird watcher.
He's got a bird watcher bag.
Does it have a strap or something to hold your binoculars? or a net?
Oh, there you go,
does.
business
Or a net?
ideas.
Yeah.
But you're basically building a brand that can cater to a bunch of niches within niches of it. But it's that vertical integration, you know. So you're getting the head covers, you're getting the themed. You could actually, you know, a lot of because of the golf world. How you look, how you feel, equipment you use is a part of the whole shtick. So if you know golfing, you know you always have your buddy who's dressed perfect, like he's wearing all his golf gear, he's got his matching stuff, and it's all the right colors, and it's all this kind of stuff. But the idea that you're doing it in themes is unique.
And that hasn't happened before.
No, it's
Wow.
never happened before, as far as I know. You know, there might have been a golf bag that came with matching head covers, but you would see that all the head covers are the same and the exact same as the bag. Whereas I have very original pieces that are essentially matching but not the same.
It kind of ties into a theme, an
Exactly.
overall theme for
Yeah,
the bag.
exactly. I don't know if we can post stuff on like after like on the podcast as far as like images to show people what I mean, because people just can't imagine it because they've never seen it before.
Yeah. Exactly.
What's the website people can go to look?
PacificSunday.ca is my website. yeah.
PacificSunday.ca.
So, and then I have NFC chips in my bag, which tells you what number out of 100 your bag is. I'm also making limited edition, so that's no one does that either. Kalen's gambler bag is 1 of 100. I won't make any more than that, so there will only ever be 100 of those golf bags in the world. So the NFC chip will say if you're number 5 out of 100 or number 97 out of 100, and then through that NFC chip, I'm creating a fantasy golf league that all bag owners can register their bag and then register a profile and then compete in the weekly games that I'm going to be setting up. I'm going to start with just picking fantasy teams for the PGA tournaments weekly. And then the winners of the points, the people who participate will get points that can be converted into cash to spend in our store. So I'll have leaderboards. It'll be a fun way for people to compete and a fun way for people to meet each other. There's going to be an aspect of people who love the social aspect of going on there and posting. I'm going to create the most fun social media site of all time.
Yeah, related to, and that's from the business end of it. So obviously you've got a dream, you've got a product, you put all the money in, and it wasn't cheap to get these bags and do all the prototypes. I mean, I kind of watched you as you were doing this, and it's tough, and it speaks to the risk that you take when you're starting a business that, you know, you've taken, and then building out your dream. So I think with this idea, as you take it to the next level, you think of a commodity, like a golf bag in a lot of people's minds would be a commodity. But if you understand the industry and understand those little nuanced little clicks and things that make it special, but getting, you know, now you've linked every single customer of your product to your website. So there's future purchases available. You've got a mailing list. You're now combining all those customers into a group, you know, a unique group that makes them feel special, but also gives them an avenue to communicate with other people that are in that community. So it's a super, especially when you look at the market being global, right? Because you could distribute these bags all around the world and create all these little pockets in community. And I think that is a unique selling point, not to the bag, but makes it fun, right? And golf is a sport. So people, especially when you look at the fantasy leagues, and with the chips and using technology too, I mean, you could probably start your own coin. You know what I mean? Where, you know, people, you know, you use the blockchain, and it just really gets into expanding and deepening. I think it's brilliant from a marketing perspective, right? It's challenging though, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I've tried to make this back end site unsuccessfully so far. Yeah, probably spent $5,000 on getting a site that didn't really work that well, so I have to start from scratch again. But that is a nice thing. If I start selling in stores, these will always be my clients because they will always scan the NFC chip and
Yeah.
I'll always have their information. And I'll always be able to communicate with my people. I think it's going to change the industry. I actually got the idea, Kellen, from party poker.
Yeah.
So when I used to play back in the day, you'd win all these points, right? And then you would convert the points into like these visors and shirts and shit. So I'm walking around town like as a party poker poster,
Like promoting someone else's brand.
promoting
Right?
someone else's brand
Yeah.
because I got and if I'm being honest, I sell golf bags. I don't sell hats and visors. I have all this stuff for sale.
Yeah.
But these are the things that I give to people as
Yeah.
as gifts. You know, they cost me, let's say, $15 to $20 each for a product like that, a towel or a visor or a head cover. And then I give those as promotional items at tournaments and stuff like that. So why wouldn't I have someone just like Party Poker convert some points to buy a visor that I'm not going to sell anyways, that they're going to be stoked on, that they got it for free. They won it by playing games.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I'm going to create something extremely fun for my people, my customers.
No, sorry, go ahead.
No,
Sam.
with those chips, I just want to kind of follow up on that. So with those chips, you're saying that you can create a fantasy games. Is that people actually playing against each other, real golf, and like their scores are being competed against each other?
I
in
can't.
real
I
time,
can.
kinda?
Yeah. So the NFC chip itself, the only technology that is in the NFC chip, is an ability to get someone from the chip onto something on their phone. I'm going to create an app. Like, I have a website right now that you have to go members.pacificsunday.ca to get to this members area. That's not acceptable because nobody knows what's going on there. Whereas if you look at your Facebook app, there's a little bubble that says 4, and then you're like, oh, I have 4 notifications. You go see what those are. That's what I need to create. I need to create the bells and whistles. I need to create an app that people can say Pacific Sunday Tour and they got 6 notifications. What are those? In the future, I could create physical tournaments, where people play with their handicaps. That's very complicated and that's a few years down the road. But yes, that's exactly what I want to do.
Okay.
But you could create a fantasy league where people are posting their score. Because the one thing about golf, unless you're the president of the United States, you don't cheat, right? So it's an honor system. So your handicap is based on your score, and you're with, there's a code of amongst the golfers there, like, oh, you count it, like, you could play without keeping score. You can play with, like I used to do, every hole was 5 and I do plus or minus. So I wouldn't really, I just know if I was plus or minus even at 5, right? It's just a number. But other people are very diligent on recording the scores, and then you get a handicap. So there's already a built-in sort of ethic to the game.
That's right.
Which you then could actually do very simply with what you've got.
Honestly, Kalen,
Yeah.
that's a really great point.
Yeah.
And that's something that I did think a lot about, is that golf is a sport that's built on integrity.
Yeah.
So if I do have these fantasy games where people have to put in their scores, it's very much like when I ask people for reviews on my site, I was kind of shocked that there was nobody lied. Like, here's an example. I asked my friend to write a bag review, but she doesn't have the bag yet. She's seen them and she knows she loves them. But in the review, it was like, I can't wait to get the bag. Like, she didn't say I have the bag and it's great. Like, just by human nature, people want to give advice to other people, like honest reviews. I think that I could run a fantasy league that relied on honesty and integrity in the golf community. That would not be possible in any other sport.
Yeah. Well, and I think part of it for me, like from the business side of it, the marketing angle of it, is it's so important to really dive deep into your concept and your idea and figure out, the octopus of ways to get your brand out there, whatever it is, and get your idea out there, but generate other channels of possible revenue streams or interest, right? And then because if you build that loyalty, I mean, we did in our business with the carbon neutrality, and then we have foundation, and all those things are purpose driven. But we could just be a restaurant selling hamburgers, and I could just focus on hamburger, which is great. But that doesn't give your customer a call to action. It doesn't embed them into your value system and what your ideas are. And I think, when you take something as simple as or perceived commodity as a golf bag, its sole purpose is to hold clubs while you go golf, right? And sure, you want it to be comfortable and you want it to carry all your stuff, but you're not just making a commodity, you're actually building sort of a culture in there, and you're giving more purpose. And that purpose also allows you to get up in the morning and be super proud of what you're doing. Like, it's hard. I mean, you know what I mean? When you look at your product, there's a real passion and love that has to go into it. Like, you're creating, a taste and a flavor, and you're experimenting. And so you're constantly in that set. If you're selling like a commodity, like, I can think of a new product or whatever, but it's just like, okay, everybody's kind of done it. And okay, my burger versus this other guy's burger. Okay, depending on who's cooking it or whatever, it could be that. But when you're actually taking your product and having that higher purpose, and I think that, and creating a system where you're actually selling your product in multiple ways. So you could be selling your product as the most comfortable bag in the world. That's awesome. You can be selling your product as a part of a team. You can be selling your product as a fantasy league and contesting, and you can access all the different markets, right? You're looking at, the junior market. Like, kids are gamers. They're into that kind of stuff. They're contests. They're competing. So you're building on a competitive sport with an idea that also allows you to monetize that, which is, awesome.
You're kind of gamifying a bag.
Yeah. Well, you're thinking, and it's like the point I'm trying to make is, like, when you're thinking about a business model or business idea, think beyond the product and think how you're going to create a story. You're going to create an interest. You're going to create different channels that you can talk about what you're doing. And I love your idea, or what you said about, I'm just giving out my hats and bags and stuff like. But you have the hats and bags, and that's such a channel to monetize. Like, right now, you're promoting, and you're getting into the hearts and minds of young people, and then you're gamifying it, which is something that they'd be interested in, and you're creating this thing that you can carry not just for this year, but 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, right? So that's a very depth. It makes it a part of people's DNA, which I think is invaluable from a marketing perspective. So very clever.
I think I do want to create. I feel now that I have customers that will never leave me. Number one, because my product is so good.
Yeah.
Everyone who messages me, I'm not. That's everyone who messages me. Maybe there's people who don't message me who don't like them, but
They don't count, though.
They don't count.
yeah. Like, so I would say the feedback has been very positive for my product itself, and I've had I've had more bags than I was expecting fall apart. Honestly, I've had straps ripping out of the bag. So I thought I had made the best bag of all time, but it's not yet. But it will be. So all I can do now is immediately, as a customer reaches out to me and said they have any issues, I just mail them a brand new bag immediately, because I will not allow one of my customers to not be happy. I'm going to create a 5-star experience no matter what. That's all I can do at this point. My product is what it is. I agonized over it. I spent 4 years and $250,000 developing this product, but I can't walk with it for a year before I start selling it. I basically have to start selling it and just hoping that I haven't missed some fundamental flaw in the bag, which I did.
Like, how, like, was that a serious failure? Like, how many are
it's serious
failing?
in a sense,
Yeah.
in the sense that what's saving my butt is that there's a lot of golfers who want a light carry bag who don't carry the bag. They
Right.
push the bag on a push cart. Most good players, not most, but 50-50, will still push their bag on a push cart. It's not putting strain on the straps. They're never going to break. That bag's going to be perfect forever. The person who's putting 400 pounds in the bag and golfing 6 times a week, those straps are ripping out after 6 months. So it's not good. But all I can do is fix it for the next generation. I've got 10 things that I need to fix, little tiny tweaks that are just going to continually perfect this bag. That I'm going to make the best bag ever. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. Well, and I guess part of the thing too, and I get, that's the other part of business is, not every business thing. Like, if I have to send somebody a free cheeseburger or pay for we're looking at $12 or whatever. It's different when you've got to send a whole bag or a whole set of straps or something like that. But,
it's brutal because it costs me about $80 on average to mail the bag to the U.S.
Yeah.
So I have to pay for the bag and shipping to the U.S. So that's a $250 out of my bank account for a bag that shit the bed essentially from the manufacturer. But it's all part of business. It's all part of business, and I just refuse to allow those things to affect me negatively. It's just every time something bad happens, I just think this is what separates me from the competition, is that I will not give up.
It's a learning experience. Now you know to look for the details in your bag and your products, right?
Yeah, totally. The analogy I use is that you can't build like a 60-inch high definition TV until you build a 14-inch black and white. Like my first golf bag that I made was the worst golf bag ever created. It was probably the worst bag ever made.
Have you still got it?
Of course I still have it. It's going to be in a museum someday. This thing is so ugly. Actually, I'll probably burn it. But it's bad. Anyways, that's what I started with. You get a product, you don't really know what to expect. But, because I wanted to create something that didn't exist, all golf brands these days, they just pick a bag out of a catalog that China creates already, and they just put their logo on it. But I wanted to build something that has never been made. So I had to start from... I say in the video that I made, like my first bag was a -1 out of 10, and my second bag was finally a 0 out of 10.
Wow, that's 100%.
And you're what would you say you're at now? Like 7 out of 10?
No.
6 out of 10?
I'm
10 out of 10? 9 out of 10?
I'm 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
Oh wow. 9.5 out of 10. I got a 0.5% to go, which is just a few extra stitches, lengthening a pocket, changing like the shape of a belt buckle. Very minor details, but. Yeah. I mean, I agonized over this bag for 3 years. I didn't just I had to go through 3 different manufacturers. The first manufacturer, after 2 years, could not come close to making the quality bag that I wanted. So I had to make a decision at that time. When you hear these stories of Lululemon and stuff, and you hear their brand story, they're always down to their last $100 at some point.
Yeah.
If he didn't do this, Lululemon would have never existed. How many successful businesses never happened because the person gave up at the wrong, essentially just before it broke, So, anyways, I've always had the mentality that I'm just going to continually put one foot in front of the other. When I had to leave that first manufacturer after 2 years, it was devastating.
Well, I feel like you're starting from scratch again, right?
Yeah, I'm sort of starting from scratch. I did have a bag that I could now mail to a second manufacturer and say, this is how far I've gotten, and these are the things I need to improve. But I'm just saying that, like, at the time, you're writing your story, and you don't know, like, I know that when I get to where I'm going, I'll look back and I'll see the path, right? And when you're looking into the future, you don't know exactly what that path will look like. And sometimes that's stressful because you don't know what the path is going to look like. But that's also the exciting part. And so I had to go to a second manufacturer, and that manufacturer made me a better quality bag, but their communication was terrible. I had to leave them too. Then I had to go to a third manufacturer. At this point, I'm pretty stressed out that maybe the product I want to make actually can't be made.
Yeah.
Because you think that you would contact a manufacturer in China who makes golf bags, who makes quote unquote waterproof golf bags, ask them to make the best golf bag of all time, and money is not a factor. Like I always said to them, if there's 2 options and one is more expensive, you don't need to ask me, just do the more expensive one.
Yeah.
Because I want to make the best bag. I don't care about anything else. Like when you say monetizing, the back end and all that stuff. I honestly, Kalen, I don't think about that. I don't care. Like I don't.
Well, you're building a brand.
I'm building a brand, but I don't need to monetize any. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm just saying, what it will look after itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
the
money
global
will look
mindset,
after.
you're not going to worry about the details. You're
Totally.
Here's what I'm building.
But I'm also not trying to make $1 billion. Like I just want to create like a very fun brand that pays my bills.
Yeah.
And I want to give back to the community. I want to support all these local tournaments, which I'm already doing.
Yeah.
It's crazy when you build a brand, like how many people reach out for free stuff, and it does kind of get annoying after a while because I've spent so much time building this brand, and then people who are, like influencers, quote unquote, who basically just make videos online, like contact me and think that I should be paying them to use my products. That stuff drives me crazy because I know what I've put into my product, and I'm not just going to give it to somebody that doesn't appreciate it. That wants me to pay them to use it. So, anyways, that's a whole other story. But I don't know where I was going with that. But
When you're wanting to take something that is out there, like a golf bag, because there's lots of golf bags out there, and you want to redefine what a golf bag is one of the first things you do is start taking apart old golf bags and see how they're made and see what's under the hood, kind of, or how did that design and reconstruction process go for you?
That's a great question.
Really, Sam.
In my Sam, you're killing it.
Thank you.
You're having the best day of all time.
I am. Because I knew I was going to.
He decided. He's helping me. There's one bag in particular in golf that to me is the best bag that had ever been made, which was the Pinghoofer. And the shape. Pinghoofer, it's called, yeah. That's the bag that I always used. It's essentially known as like the player's bag because it's light, it's functional. Ping's been around a long time. So I basically did not reinvent the wheel. I didn't invent a golf bag. I invented a perfected golf bag, which, I took the Pinghoofer and I just made it better in every single way. So
are you at home unstitching the bag?
God, no. I'm not really involved in, let's say, like I am picking the fabrics, but I'm not telling the manufacturer how to build the bag. I'm just telling them,
here's what I want.
Yeah, I took a Pinghoofer and I mailed it to China. I actually realized after a year this was going to be the fastest thing to do. Rather than giving them a whole bunch of measurements, I was just like, this is the perfect shape. So let's start with this. Then we made it waterproof. Then we put embroidered logos on it. Then we put carbon fiber legs on it. Then we improved all the fabrics. Then I put a magnet pocket on it. Then I installed NFC chips in them. Then I stylized them to be much, much more interesting and beautiful, in my opinion, than a Pinghoofer.
And more marketable too.
Like if you take like the Liquid Death model of basically trying to stand out on the shelf, I've always thought this. Every time I doubted my product, I would go to Golf Town and I'd walk around in the bag section, and then I would leave there much more confident because I can see my bags being on the shelf and looking like nothing else on the shelf. Like you will immediately see all of my products.
Yeah,
I think I've built an outstanding product. Like, I mean, my designs are not only fun, but classy, extremely hard to do. I have a designer that is a genius, essentially, and changed my whole business. But this is part of the business. My first designs were horrific.
In comparison.
But they were horrific. Like, essentially, no one would have bought my first, 12 golf bags, you know? But I just kept improving my product, and then finally I found someone who was more aligned to my vision, and then we redid all the branding, and now I have really, really great products, and I have a whole bunch of stuff that's designed for the future that people have never seen before. My gradient style bags are something that no one has ever even imagined. So once those hit the shelf, I'm going to change the whole industry. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, and so where do you feel, as far as the overall journey as a business person, right? So obviously, when you're selling real estate, you're kind of an independent, thing you're involved in a bigger network, and it's very specific because it's doing housing. So you're your own boss, you're controlling your own schedule, all that kind of stuff. You're not coupling that with investment, right? So when you start your business, you're investing, you're selling, you're creating, you're designing, you're marketing. You got to wear all those hats. Like, do you feel like how do you feel about the journey where you're at today as far as that whole process goes? So we have a lot of listeners that are in business and starting business and getting business, whether it be the restaurant business, hospitality, or whatever. I think the same philosophy, the same drive, the same perspective comes into it. And ultimately, I think, and what I've always said to you, because we've known each other a long time, your uniqueness is it stands out, and you've achieved a lot, and you're driven, you're focused. I don't know if I know anybody that's more focused, and some would call obsessive, right? Which I think, in order to be great, that's kind of what you need to do. And, you spoke about that at the beginning with the singular focus. So now looking back at it, where you're at, obviously you still have in any business, you still have a long way in front of you. Where do you feel like you are now as far as that journey, on the arc?
Okay. Well, the first part is that you have to follow your passion. And a whole part of this reality transurfing that I'm following is essentially finding what your true purpose is. When you think that there's potentially a higher version of yourself or a higher mind out there, that's how I think about it now, speaking to you. So when I have a thought that's a brilliant thought, I don't know where it came from. Where did that thought come from? I mean, that's amazing. But I have to thank my subconscious or whatever you want to call it that gave me the thought. I've found my passion. As soon as this golf bag business came into my mind, I realized it was a thunderbolt from heaven as my true purpose. This is my passion. That's why I know that I will succeed, is because it was put into me for a reason. Like this, as soon as I felt it, my heart and my mind were perfectly aligned. The same way as real estate was that for me. I love selling real estate. Like I love meeting people. I love making stupid commercials, just throwing these dumb parties. Like I love that stuff. I live for that stuff. So when you find something that you're extremely passionate about, of course you wear all the hats at the beginning.
Yeah.
I'm doing everything. Like I don't think there's one person who doesn't know like the back end of Pacific Sunday that would ever imagine that it's a one-man show.
Yeah,
Like, considering what I'm accomplishing right now. Because I'm going after this, I'm dropping 11 bags off at Hometown, the embroidery shop, to get embroidered. Then I'm going to take pictures of all those bags. I'm going to send them to everybody who's ordered them so that they have photos of their bag before I mail it, so they know it's coming. They can get excited. These are all the touch points that I'm creating with my customers to make the experience as good as possible. They don't experience anything like this with a big manufacturer, because someone emails me at 11:30 2 nights ago at night, and I respond within like 4 seconds because I'm just on my phone before I go to bed. And they respond like, wow, I didn't expect to get a email back in 4 seconds at 11:30 at night, right? But in my mind, I'm thinking like, I'm obsessed. Like, why wouldn't I? Like, I see the email, now I respond, and now it's gone, and I don't have to think about it tomorrow. So where I am right now is that I'm wearing all of the hats for everything that I'm doing, but that's going to change soon. I'm taking time every day now to think about real estate. So I set aside time every day to think about real estate. So I'll set aside an hour to think about real estate. I'll look at some recent sales. I'll think about my clients. I'll think about some ideas for commercials. I'll just think about it. I set aside time to think about my golf brand and just try and think of ideas, think of brand. I'm always open to my thoughts that could possibly come from my higher self that will give me brilliant ideas in order to move my vision forward. That's, I guess, where I am right now, is that I need to make money in real estate in order to get my golf brand to succeed, which is the way I've always been operating. I couldn't have done this without making a lot of money selling real estate. So that's how I've been funding it. Every time I sold the house, I would think, perfect, I have $1,000 to buy a bunch of towels to send them all over Canada to start building my brand name. That's what I've been doing, basically. I'm looking forward to the day when I can streamline the operations and get things like when I have to fulfill a bag order, I have to drive to the West Shore. I have to climb into my locker that's super disorganized. I have to find a bag that could be buried at the back of my locker, and it could take me 45 minutes. Like, it's a joke, like what I'm doing right now. It's hilarious. Like, I have 3 lockers, and I don't know where anything is. So,
but I think that is typical. Like, your story is typical of,
I think so.
Of it, right? Mm-hmm. Because that's what happens. You break things to make things, as they say, but you also, like, when you're one person operation. I remember when I had my import business, I was literally taking returns from Home Depot and Costco and all that kind of stuff, putting it in my garage effectively. And then I have to test it and figure out what's wrong with it, why is it not working, and whether I can monetize it again. But I remember I had this product where I literally, in order to sell it, the person that was going to buy it wanted me to change the placard. So it took out one of the features because for whatever reason, there was a law in their state or whatever. They couldn't say that. So I had to physically make a new card and go to where all my stuff was in the bottom of this building I own, this basement, and literally take, and I don't know, the order was like 5,000 pieces. And I had to go in and literally take a placard out, put a new placard in of 5,000 pieces myself, and then send it off. And I'm just thinking to myself, what am I doing? And that is something that, for me, and this is where I think the real kind of jewel in the story and the purpose thing, because forget whatever the business, forget about all, whatever it is, but there's no passion for me in that particular product. It was a kind of a commodity. I was just like, oh my God, I got to go do this. So there's no bigger dream for me of that. I'm like, okay, I have all these products. I got to figure out how to sell them. Let me just get it out. And then it's very shallow. And I had no energy that was drawn from that. when you have a bigger mission and a bigger purpose of what your dream is and what your product is, you're doing it with that passion in mind. So as much as it drives you nuts, you hang on to that vision of why you're doing it. And when it's just about money, it means nothing. It's very shallow. Like, okay, I sold it, I got the money. I'm like, oh my God, that nearly killed me. You know, but it doesn't propel me forward. Like I'm not building anything with that. You know, like the whole passion piece is the key. And you can be passionate about whatever, but when you build in a bunch of other stuff, and that's what I think, you know, the whole purpose of a really good business, because no business is going to be successful unless you're the guy out there or girl out there propelling it forward and waking up and have that fire in your belly. And so not only are you creating passion for your customer, you're giving them a reason to like your product, buy your product, and, you know, come back. You got to keep the fire in you, because it doesn't happen if you're not there.
Totally.
Right. So I think that what you just described is what it takes in order to do it, but also you found a product that gives you that passion that allows you to do it, you know, which I think is like that information is a gift to people that are trying to create their own business, whatever the business is, right?
Totally.
You know, which I think is the most important lesson, I think, of what you've done, you know?
Yeah, I'm in a great place right now because in my mind, I've proven product market fit. Imagine, you know, you open a restaurant or you work on your coffee blend for years, and at the end of the day, you don't know if anybody is going to want it. I have I'm creating products that to me look good, but they're weird.
Yeah.
And I have no idea if anyone's going to want a weekend warrior bag. Now that I've been selling since January, apparently only 2% of Shopify stores ever cross 6 figures. I did it in about 6 months with no advertising.
Oh, wow.
So I know I have a product market fit. Whoever sees my product likes it. So without bragging, I'm really excited now because I have proven that people want my products.
Yeah.
This is the most exciting time for me because now is when I'm going to grow. I'm going to make better products, always making better products once I start advertising, because I could have much more impressive sales numbers if I was spending 15 grand a month on advertising. Of course, I've sold 300 grand worth of products, but considering I'm spending $0 on advertising and I'm just getting orders pretty much every day, I'm really, really excited for the future and what I can create for this golfing community that is looking for something unique in the golf bag space.
Now, from the business standpoint about growth, and like, would you ever consider taking on a partner, or have you consider that? I mean, one of the big things in business is at what point are you able to scale, and it's costly, right? You just, you know, marketing, especially when you're doing direct to consumer stuff. I mean, obviously you've got a retail or wholesale plan as well, or idea, but would you ever take on a partner? You know,
I think I'm open to the idea, Kalen, because like I said before, I don't know how my whole business is going to unfold. I don't know how it will, and I need to be open to every idea because, you know, I have a plan of an end goal. The more people I can bring along with me, the better. I mean, my whole goal this entire time was to create a really, really successful golf brand and make all my friends rich and famous. You know, that's my plan. So yeah, I mean, I'm like, I actually don't remember where I was going with that, but
When you're building your bags and your brand, I know for myself when I'm coming up with a new coffee, or if I'm coming up with a flavor profile, I'm actually not really thinking too much about what my customers want. I'm more thinking about what I really like. And I don't know how that translates into other businesses because I've never had another business. Does that speak to you in a way, or are you really building this for other people?
yeah, Sam, that's a great point. Rick Rubin has a famous quote of saying that he doesn't make music for other people, he makes music for himself.
Yeah.
He's not focused on the listener. He's only focused on making stuff that resonates with him, and that's all you can really do. So I am doing that, but I think that, let's say, Sam, in your coffee shop, you have 4 different blends, and one is much more popular. I would look at that and say that now that I have some experience selling, I know which ones of my designs are more popular than the others.
Right.
And I like to dress a little weirder than most people, so I need to make more plain options for the people who want to wear black, who wear black all day, right? So my competition classic collection is my most normal looking collection. It's essentially black with a slight paisley pattern. That sold out first. Well, that's a great indication to me that I need to make more of that style. So yes, I am making products for myself, but I'm also wanting to listen to the market and be able to, maneuver and massage my own products to fit the market better.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and I
That
think that's
makes
one
a lot
of the
sense.
things too. Is like, I think it's a great point. And I relate it back to my journey with our products that we sell at Big Wheel Burger. Like, products we sell at Big Wheel Burger are stuff that I like. Right? We have a breakfast sandwich. It's one of the better breakfast sandwiches because I like breakfast sandwiches. Like, do we sell a ton of them? No, but we sell it. They do okay, but I think it's fantastic. But we're a burger joint, so people aren't necessarily thinking, "Oh, I'm going to have a breakfast sandwich." But I've modeled the business. The DNA of the business is, it starts out 100% you, and then as you kind of start moving forward, and you're seeing what's selling, what resonates with people, what story are people connecting to, because you need them to connect in order to sell. Right, you need to have your product that it sells 70%, and that's your go-to. And where the fun and creative part of it is all this other stuff. Like Pete Zambri is just like, oh, let's change the menu all the time, and we have these specials and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, you're building a business on what 10% of the people are going to buy. Like, let's build it on what 90% of people are going to buy. We still have fun and explore, right? Because that's what it is. But as the cycle of your business grows, you realize that the people that are buying the majority of it is what kind of pays the bills and all that kind of stuff. But you can never lose sight of injecting the lines that is what gives you fun.
Yep.
Right. Like now for me, it's our foundation gives me fun. Like I love doing that. I mean, but the burger and that whole business allows us to do that.
Yeah.
Right. So, but
it's almost like the 80-20 principle.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So I love that because it's no different in any business you're doing, any product you're selling. It's the exact same vibe, right? Because again, you've got to feel good about what you're doing, but you also have to cater to what the market's telling you. And one of the things too, because I was in my former life, I was building a brand. I mean, it's water coolers. It was like bottled water brand, and trying to do multiple products and all that kind of stuff. Because that's how you are successful. But it's very costly too, like having multiple lines and different bags and different stuff. Because, like you said, like if somebody's like, there's one person in the world that likes that bag, and you have 100 bags. Like, okay, we need
hot diggity.
Yeah, every year there'll be more people born that'll eventually like that bag. And it'll
totally.
sell over 100 years. But you've got the one bag that it's like sold out first. And you're like, okay, there you go. There's my bread and butter. But I'm still going to do, because you still have to have fun doing your business, right?
Totally. Yeah, and I'm still going to make fun products that look different. Sam, I was going to ask you, how did you get into the coffee business?
Through kind of dropping out of school, really.
Okay.
I had a job at a kiosk. I'd always made coffee at all my hospitality jobs I've ever had. Always tried to make coffee better, and I had a job at a little kiosk, and I liked it, and it came up for a sale, and I took the opportunity. I dropped out of school.
Wow, how long ago was that?
It'll be 30 years this year.
Unreal.
Yeah.
So that was a passion for you? Did you feel like
yeah,
at the
coffee
time?
was always a passion, but really it was customer service was a passion for me. I mean, it could have been coffee, it could have been hot dogs, it could have been golf bags. It could have been anything that I was passionate about. What it was hospitality. I wanted to create a space where people felt really good. And so it was timing. It was the product. I really liked the product. I knew I could do better with it. And I was tired of school. I was doing my post-secondary 7. I was going into my 8th year of post-secondary.
I have a 2-year diploma.
Yeah, with no real kind of future.
Oh, I thought you dropped out of grade 10.
Yeah, no. If you listen to me, it sounds like I just dropped out of grade 10, maybe. But
we were at Camosun together.
Oh, no way.
And Sam spent, we didn't really know each other then, but I'd always see Sam because he's a colorful character doing hacky sack.
Yeah.
So
I was there 2 years, but then
Do you look familiar?
202, 303. I did all the hacky sack courses.
That's amazing.
Well, I was there 2 years, and I showed up 2 years later, and Sam's still doing hacky sack at the Camosa.
Still in the same circle with the same four guys.
I was like,
So
man,
dumb.
I thought this was a 2-year school.
I graduated to UVic and
Oh,
spent
you
a lot of
did?
time
Okay,
at UVic.
yeah.
Yeah.
I never did.
But then I dropped out of UVic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have like one brick and mortar store and then do some online stuff? Or?
I've got 2 brick and mortar stores and a coffee roastery, and I'm actually changing my focus right now from cafes to getting coffee into homes.
Oh, you are. So you're gonna is that like an online business model then?
Online direct. I want people to come to my cafes and buy coffee and take it home.
Okay.
I'll drive coffee to your house.
You will?
I do it every day. I'm my own delivery guy, and I'll take like a pound of coffee to someone's house in Sydney.
Can I ask one last question,
You
Kaylan?
brought me a pun.
Oh, that's for Kaylan. What do you recommend? Because I want to get into coffee a little bit more. I'm not like a big coffee drinker, but it's not like I want to create a habit that I don't need. But I'm just wondering if I bought coffee like that, like what would be the best way in your opinion to prepare that coffee? Like for me, just single person in my house, like do I need a fancy coffee machine or how would you recommend it?
Like you could have as simple as a French press.
Okay.
I mean, if I were to choose any brew method for myself that I could take to my deserted island.
Yeah.
Or my desert island?
Deserted desert island. You want a desert?
Yeah.
Dude, have some trees, man. Maybe a few
At least a
animals
couple
like
of coconut
chickens.
trees. Oh, yeah.
Goats? Because goat milk?
Yeah. I would definitely take a French press.
Okay. And would you grind the beans? Do you think that makes a difference, or can you just buy like pre-ground?
Nah, always buy whole bean.
Dude,
Get yourself
we did a whole
grinder.
coffee podcast last
Okay.
week. That
It comes out this
Okay.
week,
Into that.
so I don't want to
really?
give away
too
too
many
much.
secrets.
But
So
yeah,
would it come out
I
last
would
week?
go with something super simple, like a simple pour-over method,
Okay.
or a French press. Don't buy an espresso machine for home ever,
Okay.
unless you're buying it for me. But I don't like selling equipment, so don't.
I
do
thought
that
I'd ask
either.
because that's my next purchase for my little apartment.
Really?
Yeah, well, I guess you get a French press.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do
get yourself a French press and a good grinder.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do that then, and I'll get some coffee off you.
Sure.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
I'll tell you what, if you buy a nice grinder, I'll give you a pound of coffee. And I don't sell grinders, so you can't buy it from me.
Oh, I
but,
see.
But if
Okay.
you make the effort to buy a good grinder and
Okay.
you tell me, I'll give you a pound of coffee for
Heck
that.
yeah. Well, I don't need a free pound. I want to support your business, but I will buy a nice grinder.
Nice.
Dude, I love it. And
Right
then
on.
Sam's going to get into golf to support your business.
Well, I was going to say, I'm not a golfer, but I'm an avid disc golfer.
Oh, awesome. I want
Yeah.
to know more about that sport, actually.
Disc
It seems
golfing
super
for me is the same thing. You get to go out for
you're out
a
in
couple
nature.
hours walk. You
Interesting.
get to hang out with your friends.
Okay.
You're doing something focused and competitive.
Do you make tee times at disc golf, or do you just show up and
No,
it's
we
first
smoke
come-
joints at the tees. We don't have tea usually.
Fair enough. No,
Yeah.
He doesn't golf, so he doesn't know
like
the
tea
actual
time.
start.
Sorry.
Yeah, the tea
Oh.
time, not tea.
Yeah, no, it's when everyone shows up at the parking lot.
Oh, okay.
Really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's no. So it's first come first serve.
It
essentially,
is
the
first
course,
come
right?
first
Okay.
serve. Yeah.
So you're just playing behind groups, so it's not as
Yeah.
organized as the stuffy.
No, it's
You got
it's
to
not
your
as
tea time
organized.
12:10.
But
but
it's
tea time
more
12:20.
But it's more
faster.
flexible because if you are like involved with a big group, you just let other people go through. There's no. It's such a
That sounds
relaxed
fun.
atmosphere out
What
there.
do you need for equipment in that sport?
I was just gonna say, are you ever gonna make bags?
Well,
Because I know
100%.
there's a variety of bags. There's like the toss over your shoulder flat bag that you hold like 6 discs in. There's a box one that has a couple beer can holder or probably a water bottle holders on each side, right, with a little pocket in it. But there's not very great bags. There's no like fancy ones that you. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think
there's got to be.
I think I've got a whole brand in my head
I
already.
think there's
right?
got to be
Yeah.
a way to make a
You go there too?
better disc golf.
Of course.
Yeah.
I was
I
thinking
mean-
that when you walked in, I'm like, disc golf.
Yeah, I mean, I originally thought of Pacific Sunday golf, Pacific Sunday baseball, Pacific Sunday. I
Yeah.
can do anything. I can make
Yeah.
baseball gloves that look like ice cream cones. I mean, every sport is looking for more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's literally a can't lose proposition. I don't. The thing is, I know a lot about golf and golf bags, and I know exactly the golf bag that I wanted to create. I know nothing about disc golf, so but that could be a conversation in the future, essentially, where I get into that sport and figure out
Yeah.
what the sport is missing, and then create just extremely fun, vibey, really great quality products.
Yeah, I think with disc golf, you're
Bless
going to
you.
find that there's more variety out there anyway, because it's not that tight group with such tradition
Yeah,
that
gotcha,
a golf bag
gotcha.
looks like this.
Yeah.
Well, there's
tee
some
times at 12,
parallels. There's
15.
some parallels for sure.
Oh,
you know.
absolutely. There's parallels. I just think that probably the disc golf bag industry is more diverse already, and finding a niche in there, you'd have to talk to a couple solid disc golfers
Yeah, there you go.
and
Exactly.
figure it out.
I'd have to figure that out from a good player's
Listen,
perspective.
you've got enough on your plate.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Business people need to also be focused.
Kale, I'm going to spend 5 minutes every day thinking about disc golf.
I was going to ask you, when you said you spend an hour thinking about real estate, you spend an hour thinking about golf or golf bags business. Is that private time that you mark out on your calendar that you adhere to? Is it a certain time in a certain place, or is it anywhere you find yourself and you just stop?
I'm trying to be a much more organized person. You know, when I go meet let's say one of the owners at Remax, his name's Braden, he has his calendar up and everything is blocked off with different colors. He knows what he's doing all week.
Yeah, my wife's the same way.
I'm not like that. Like I'm trying to be more like that, and I'm trying to plan more, because I think it is important to have a set schedule. If I know tomorrow that between 9 and 10 a.m. I'm going to be thinking about real estate, then what I'll do is I'm living in the Hudson House building downtown. It has a very nice rooftop patio. So if the weather's decent, then I'll get a jug of water and I'll go sit up there, and I'll bring my laptop, and I'll do some real estate working like on my own, and I'll just send out the vibes to the universe. That's essentially what I'm trying to do. So it's not, Sam, that I have an hour blocked off every day, but this is the person that I'm creating right now. Is I'm creating someone who's much more organized, who allocates their time more wisely, and so I'm making the most out of all the minutes in the daytime, as much as possible.
Awesome.
Well, I think that's also, sorry. One of the things about that is when you start, it's hard to create new habits like consistently. But if, say you go, because I know you as well, like the obsessiveness of it is like you'll do this like really good for a period of time, but then it'll just naturally, you get slippage. But if you end up like you're at 0 when you start, and then you go to 100, and then you end up at 15 or 20 or 30 or 50 even, by creating just little pockets of stuff. Like people think, especially when they do, think about the start of the new year, I'm going to have my New Year's resolutions, right? I call it New Year's affirmations. Mm-hmm. So I don't look to add things or be something. I look to take certain things away that maybe aren't healthy or aren't right, or like eliminating sugar from coffee was one of mine one year. I picked 3 things to eliminate, and then I'm not going to say I'm going to work out all the time, but I'm going to try to complete, 200 workouts. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, so I'm going to do 200. So I just record when I'm working out. I know, okay, I did 200 workouts this year. Mm-hmm. So I know if I reduce my sugar in there and I do 200 workouts, that's it. I don't have to set myself up to fail, but so not all because I think a lot of people, they put so much focus, I'm going to be like the Remax guy who's got all this thing, or I'm going to be like my wife who's got all the color coded stuff. And I'm like, and she's like, why don't you do this? And I'm like, I'm never going to do this, because part of where I got to is, I need to have that sort of chaotic kind of thing for my creative spirit and how I've always operated. But maybe I can learn one aspect of it and I'll try it. And then, maybe instead of doing it 100% of the time, I'll do it 20% of the time. And I've added that tool to my tool belt. Mm-hmm. So then it's like, okay, now I've done it, because now I don't drink sugar in my coffee, and it's been 12 years, mm-hmm. And it literally is however many calories that would be over that course of time. And then, how much more you have to exercise to get, it's mm-hmm. building little small bricks in your arsenal mm-hmm. over time.
Micro habits.
Yeah.
The way I look at it is a little bit differently. I read a book called Be Your Future Self Now. And essentially the thought process that I have is that, say yesterday when I was supposed to go out for dinner and then I canceled, was because I was thinking about myself right now and how I would feel if I was hungover doing this podcast. I'm always trying to take care of my future self. So if I'm going to eat the bag of chips, well, my future self is not going to appreciate that because now I got to work
Like
out
tomorrow,
harder.
yeah.
So I essentially, because we only have the present, it's so easy to not plan for the future. One thing I read was that because we are from like a hunter-gatherer, evolutionary, biological person, we are essentially only planning for our next meal. That's what we've been. That's what's allowed us to survive. When I started putting money away for my kids to go to college when they were born, that felt so weird because it seemed so far
Yeah.
in the future. They're never going to get there, but now they're there. Planning for your future and planning for your future self is something that I'm always thinking about now.
I love that. I mean, that's a really awesome piece of advice.
I think when I was at my
Awesome,
my
Damian.
my happiest in my business and feeling like I was firing on all cylinders, I was blocking out in an hour a week.
Okay.
And I called it my clarity time. And it was the same time every week, same day, and I'd be gone for an hour and a half. I'd go to an office somewhere. I had a special little place that was quiet. And I just sat there with a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen.
And why did you do that?
I did it because I was really busy. I had lots on the go, lots of moving pieces going around. And if I didn't, I would never, like, if I didn't block that into my calendar, I would never take the time to do it. And in that time, I learned not to have any expectations of what that time would bring me.
Okay.
It was just time
So this
with
is
myself.
quiet time.
This is
Basically,
just
you
quiet
said so.
time.
Okay.
But what happened was I would always come up with cool things to improve my business
Okay.
and cool ideas. They would just, it wouldn't come the first minute, but they might be there in 15 minutes. I'd be like,
You're being purposeful.
I'm being purposefully mindful about nothing.
Yeah.
But, and I know that that's really important, but more important for me, because I'm more of a chaotic individual, I needed to lock that down on my calendar. The one thing that I had to do every week was just that quiet time.
So the way I would look at that now, Sam, is that you're taking that time to listen to your higher self, basically, right? And you're allowing them, yourself, your subconscious to speak to you. Whether or not it's true, I believe that my future self communicates with me. It's probably not true. I don't know, but I don't care.
In a
It's a
way,
thought, though. It's a
yeah,
nice thought.
yeah.
Of
Yeah,
course.
like because is quantum physics teaching us that time is not linear, and in fact, that's just how we experience time. But everything has already happened. All of our future has already exist. We have infinite versions of ourselves that are currently existing, and our job is to mentally go into the timeline of the person that we want to be successful. So that's
Every decision takes you down a different path.
every
that ends
decision
up-
takes
yeah,
you down a different path.
Yeah,
Exactly. When
yeah.
you start thinking about that, I think about when I get good ideas. Like there's a thought that came from like the famous manifesting teachers, Neville Goddard, etc., from the past. And what they say is that if you ever have a problem in your life that needs solving, what you need to do is spend 30 to 60 minutes in quiet solitude by yourself, listening for your higher self to talk to you. And according to them, this works 100% of the time. And it usually takes about half an hour. Okay, so most people have never in their entire lives sat for 30 minutes. That's a really long time to sit without doing something, scrolling on your phone. When you sit and just listen for your higher mind to speak to you, according to them, I haven't done this yet, but if you sit for 30 to 60 minutes, you will start communicating with your higher mind. It sounds like that's what you were experiencing. You would sit there and then you would get answers to your questions.
Yeah.
Where did those answers come from, Sam? It's a strange concept, but could it be that you are opening up your mind to listen for thoughts coming from your higher self?
Yeah, I always think about my higher self as that little tiny voice that you hear in your head all the time, saying nonsense most of the time. And I wonder if that's the same higher self that you're thinking about, or if that the voice in your head, your conscious mind or your unconscious mind, chit-chatting away, counteracting all your thoughts, and sometimes making horrible, awful thoughts, and sometimes really great thoughts. Is that the same? Is that the same
great point.
It's kind of voice that you're thinking about?
Yeah, so it is, but in that same breath, you have to realize that when these thoughts are coming in your head, if they're not yours, you can decide what to do with those thoughts. So if I have a negative thought that inevitably comes into my head about a particular situation that I may have perceived as negative to begin with, well, I can decide to entertain that and take it down a negative path, or I can choose to not engage with that negativity. So now when thoughts come in my head, I don't take it personally. I don't take it as fact. I don't take it as anything. I just take it as an option of a way that I could be feeling about a situation, but then I'm going to decide how I'm going to feel about it. So yes, there is a still small voice, in my opinion, that speaks to us all the time. And that's why it's still small, is because it's hard to hear it all the time. But intuition and following your heart is a big part of, in my opinion, like living your most fulfilled life, because you have to listen to your soul speaking to you, because your mind will always go back to our pre-programming, which is trying to survive, thinking about the worst. We're always planning for the worst possible situations, and we're never really relaxing and just allowing. I've stressed out about money my whole life. I come from a family that wasn't rich by any means. And so money is something that I've always stressed about. I don't remember a time in my life when I haven't worried about where my next check's coming from. Selling real estate's commission-based business. I tend to do those kind of businesses, which is not, great for the soul when you're worried about your next check. But I've learned to just allow money to come to me. I feel like everything in life now is energy. Everything operates on a certain vibration, and if you create the person that is so magnetic and attractive, you will attract everything that you want. So I don't necessarily think about money anymore. I don't think about it anymore. I will allow money to come into my life when it comes, and that's not going to stop me from tipping or being generous to other people and giving to other people. The more that I give out, the more I will receive. And that's how I operate my life right now. So it's a completely different way of looking at life. It's basically the difference between thinking that life is happening to you and circumstances are controlling you, or thinking that you create your own life and that what you're seeing is a mirror of yourself. If I don't like what I see, then I'm not going to change the mirror, because it's just reflecting myself. If I don't see a smile coming back at me, it's because I'm not smiling. So when I operate my day, I just basically give out all the energy that I want to receive back. And so far, it's been a miracle in my life.
Dude, it's funny because I scroll obviously sometimes, and Gabor Mate, he comes up on my feed a lot, and he's a Vancouver-based, I think he's a psychologist, and he said you can't argue with feelings, but beliefs you can challenge. So a lot of people, they spend all their time worrying about how they're feeling, and like arguing with, I feel like this, the feelings, letting feelings control you.
Right.
Where, your beliefs, like you can't argue with your feeling. You're going to feel what you feel, but your beliefs you can challenge, right? So, if you believe that you're going to fail,
Well,
and you feel you're going to fail, and you align your belief with that feeling, then you will fail.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah, and essentially, Kalen, it's, in my opinion, what you are focused on is what you will notice. So if now I'm expecting coincidences to happen and miracles to happen and the universe to provide ways for me to get to where I'm going. This podcast is a perfect example. I mean, I'm very grateful for you guys to have me on today. Because these are the opportunities that I recognize when they come in my life as an extremely generous offering from the universe that just fell in my lap because somebody else canceled. I never would have thought about that before in that particular way, but now I'm looking for coincidences. I'm looking for I'm looking I'm not focused on the setbacks. I'm focused on everything that is positive. That's when you start focusing on all the positive things that are happening, you create more positive things.
Well, you don't leave room for anything else, right? If that's what
Essentially.
you're so absorbed in, all positivity all the time, there's no room for anything else to enter your life, maybe.
Well, it becomes paralyzing too, because you can let your fears paralyze you. And another thing, another quote, and they came back to back. This is from Winston Churchill: "Fear is a reaction, courage is a decision." So when you get wallowed or swallowed by your fears, which is created by some feelings you're having because of circumstances, you're not making decisions. But if you park all that stuff and then have the courage to actually make a decision, then you're in control again, right? Your feelings don't allow you to be in control. Your decisions allow you to be in control.
Exactly.
And prioritizing the decision part of it rather than the fear part of it.
Totally. And it would be just like, if your alarm goes off in the morning, everybody's tired. But you can still make a decision to just get out of bed.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. Is basically you have decided that these are the micro habits that you're going to create, and then you just do them.
Yeah.
I've never gone to the gym in the morning, but I've started doing that now. Like I ran for half an hour on the treadmill this morning.
Yeah.
And the whole time I'm just like, in my head, I'm just thinking like beast mode, because I'm creating this person who is beast mode person. You know? So when I'm running that half an hour, I don't quit before the end of the half an hour, because I'm proving to myself all the time that this is the person that I am.
Yeah.
The universe doesn't reflect what you want. It reflects what you know and what you are. And I have an unshakable belief in myself. That's why there is not one single doubt that I will create exactly what I want to, because there's no option for failure. And I am creating myself right now. There's a quote: life is not about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. Think about the person that you want to be and make that person. Think about the person who has everything that you've ever wanted. Whatever you can imagine, you can achieve. And in fact, that's what I do. It's called a slide. I basically, there's a way of thinking that everything that you see is through a slide of your own perception. Okay, so if I think I have a big nose, I'm looking at everything around me through this particular slide, and I'm going to notice people looking at my big nose, whether or not they're looking at my nose.
Yeah.
This is what you
That's
need to
your narrative.
realize, is that everything... I'm sorry, my block. Oh,
No.
yeah.
No, your nose is blocking me, but
He's looking at how big your nose is.
I gave that example because my nose is so small. Anyways, so I've come to realize that basically, one time I walked into a place, I wasn't feeling very confident. I thought, this person must think I'm a loser. They look over at me and I'm like, oh my God. And that's exactly what I saw.
Yeah, you created the narrative
I
before
created
it
the
even
narrative.
happened.
I created what her own thoughts.
Yeah.
So I'm judging myself, essentially.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that person's thinking. And it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Even if they did think I was a loser, who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, it really doesn't matter. I put also slides of my future. So you try and imagine in the first person exactly what you're doing in the future that you're looking forward to. Whatever that looks like in your mind, it could be you open up another coffee shop, or like whatever your goals are. You imagine that I imagine that all the time. I imagine everything down to the like minor details of like what I am creating. For me, I create collections that sell out before they're released. That's my goal. My goal is to create beautiful collections that are 100 pieces, and then I release them at a certain time, and they sell out. And then I can live my life anywhere in the world, and I can be creative, and I can create these products for people, and I can make enough money to live. That's my goal. So I think about this stuff all the time. Creating an action slide or a slide of your future is extremely important to get to where you want to go, because visualizing is everything. Whatever
manifest
thoughts
destiny,
you put into the collective consciousness, there must be something like a collective consciousness, because that was the only thing to me that can explain why certain things in my life are expanding and why certain things are contracting. My real estate business disappeared when I stopped thinking about it. That's
Yeah.
mind-boggling.
Yeah, especially after how long you've been doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like I never thought that could be possible.
Yeah.
But there is a collective consciousness where we all reside and we're all interconnected. I hate to say it, but I got onto this whole reality transurfing from a TikTok video that I saw. This guy's name's Vlad. And the title of the video is How DMT Taught Me About the Nature of Consciousness. So he does DMT and basically has this trip where he
And what's
realized,
DMT?
Oh, DMT is a drug,
You know
basically.
DMT? Oh, I don't know DMT.
So
I want to know DMT more.
Yes, same. So DMT is a drug that lasts a short time. I believe it's like 5 to 15 minutes, and people experience.
Been tapping into. It's like
People go to different dimensions and they visit.
It's the
with-
same dimension they go to all the time, though, isn't it? It's like
yeah,
they
they're-
see the same people, their same characters in there. and-
Exactly. There's a lot of similarities between people's trips, and that leads some people to believe that, of course, there's a big segment of the science population who believes that your brain is just creating these chemicals and your brain's playing tricks on you. And there's another segment of people who think that potentially we actually go for wisdom and talk to other people. Anyways, in this person's story, in this trip that he had, he realized that all life was connected, that the walls were alive. Like everything in our world is all energy and it's all connected. This table is the same energy as like money. You know, like everything is the same. And when you start looking at life as energy, then when a negative person comes into my vicinity or like cuts me off in traffic or is rude to me in a store, I no longer look at that as that person being rude to me, then I get upset about it. I look at that as a energy pendulum that's negative and it's trying to steal my energy from me.
Yeah.
When I look at that as just like a form of energy, no, I just move away from it because it's not going to take any of my energy from me. I will not allow it.
Yeah.
That has helped me to basically separate like I just feel awake now and I feel like all of my thoughts are something that I can control and I can take action and I can somewhat control my feelings, but I can definitely control my actions and how I react to things. That's what I've been practicing. It's been life-changing for me. I mean, I would recommend it to anybody to just try and have a more
explore.
positive mindset. And to just, when you wake up in the morning, just decide that you're going to have the best day of all time. And you will have the best day of all time every day.
Yeah.
It reminds me of a quote. Since you're quoting, I'm going to quote something too. Nikola Tesla said, if you want to understand the universe, think in terms of frequency and vibrations.
Totally.
Which is essentially that's what the universe is made up of. If you want the answers, that's where to go look.
Well, yeah, because life makes no sense. I mean, the atom is 99% air. There's more stars in the universe than there are grains of sand on planet Earth, but there's more atoms in one grain of sand than there are stars in the universe. That makes no sense. I mean, so when you think about that, the fact that atoms are that small and they're 99% energy, we do not understand what the hell is happening on this earth.
Yeah.
And that's what people need to realize, is that we have much more power than we think we do. I believe that we have the ability to transform a wave into a particle. Essentially, there are infinite waves of possibility, and we materialize that into particles that create our physical reality around us. I'm going to create my entire world, but just by doing that, but through thought process, I'm going to create the life that I want just through that, basically.
I love it.
Wow.
I think it's no, but I mean, the fact of the matter is, like, I always go back to the year I won at the World Series of Poker, and I'd been going there at that point I'd been going there like 12 or 13 years playing and doing okay, making a little bit of money, but I wanted to win this year, and I manifested it. I started in January saying I'm going to win this specific tournament. I wasn't even the best player in it, but I ended up doing it. I just said I'm winning, even throughout the whole thing. I started 6 months before, And I had a psychologist, and I'm
No
like,
way.
I manifested. I said, this is what I want to do. And it was not just about winning, it was about completing something, because I felt like so many things I was okay at a bunch of different things, but I never actually committed to actually completing something where I thought, oh, okay, stamp, done. Like I'm just kind of okay at a bunch of stuff, but I chose this particular mission and I won, through almost 1,100 or over 1,000 players. I decided I was going to win that tournament 6 months in advance, and I did. Throughout the whole process, I'm just like, I'm winning. Even setbacks didn't get me down. I was just like, no, I'm winning. This is just on the path to winning. This is what happens. Never, I lost this huge pot, and I was like super short. And then guess what? I just managed to win. And then at the end, I was the last guy standing, and I was just like, oh, all right, there it is.
Totally.
Did I repeat it again? No, but because of the frequency piece of it is like singular focus, mission, deciding, and then just never letting any of those other thoughts come in, and you can be successful.
Well, I would look at that slightly differently, and I would say that
Don't tell me that. This has been driving my whole
This is law.
purpose.
Yeah, but you've been doing it wrong.
I would
Yeah.
say, yeah. No, you're wrong, Ken.
Yeah, you're wrong, Kelly.
You didn't win.
But you really
I haven't
fooled
won
yourself.
again. Yeah, I fooled myself.
Well,
How would you think of that?
Well, I would think of it like, what did you feel when you won? Like, what was that feeling? Like, were you on top of the world? Like, was it the greatest thing you ever felt? I mean, when we think about our accomplishments and our successes, like, it makes us feel a certain way, right? And what we want to do is create that feeling all the time. So I would think about the feeling that you had when you won that tournament, right? And I would just think about that all the time. And I would just literally carry that feeling of euphoria or whatever you felt when you won that tournament all the time. If you want to win again, that's what you would do. You would carry that feeling of winning all the time.
Yeah, and that's where the disconnect is a little bit for me in, kind of as we kind of wrap up our show, but the, hour and a half.
Kind of wrap it up.
Is that I've tried, like the next year I came fourth in that same tournament. So, but I didn't manifest that. I was like, I thought I played better the next year. I thought I got a lot luckier the year that I manifested it, but it just, the negative thoughts never came in. And even the next year I just was like determined, but ended up coming fourth, but it was a different vibe. I didn't win, but it was a different kind of vibe. And then I often think, well, how do I recreate that? So then but it's not, in order to do it, like you literally have to just remove it. So it wasn't the destination feeling for me. It was the purposeful nature of it and the intent of it
Totally.
through the journey of it.
Yeah.
Right?
And by the way, I don't mean
No.
to win again.
Yeah, no.
If you like, I don't mean like this is going to help you to win another tournament. I just mean that it doesn't matter if you win or not, as long, like, if you're like the happiest
intent.
you can be.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
I
Scotty
think what you wanted to do was complete the process of entering a tournament and finishing on top, and then that's done. You've completed. It's a sense of completion.
Yeah.
Whereas if you come in fourth, there's still room to complete.
For sure.
Well,
And when you've done it, you've done it.
Yeah.
there was an interesting interview. Scotty Scheffler is the #1 golfer in the world. And they were asking him about how rewarding it is to win these big tournaments. And he was talking about it in the context of that he's been working his whole life to get there. So he says, you teed up on Thursday, you play all week, you win on Sunday. It's unbelievable feeling that this is what you worked your whole life for, to win this golf tournament. But then he said an hour later, you're trying to figure out what you're eating for dinner, and then everyone's asking you about next week. What would it feel like to win that tournament? This is one of the best golfers who's ever lived, okay? He's a religious person. To me, it speaks to the fact that it doesn't matter what you accomplish, if you win or you don't win. What you want to be is constantly content and happy as possible with what you're doing. Because if he was winning every week and not happy about it, then really what would be the point of that?
Yeah.
So that's more what I mean about just carrying the feeling of winning, because that's all that matters.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know that having the idea, having won, and people that win things, they behave differently. They have better results. They've, to win and have that feeling, you've been there. So you know what it takes. Like so many other times in different situations, I knew what it takes to win because I have one. So
Totally.
you're able to tap into that feeling.
Totally.
But it shows you the manifest destiny of things that, so if you can do it in this one moment, like how do you create multiple moments of that? And what stops you from that? Like, why aren't you able to recreate it all the time? I don't know the answer to that, but that is sort of the challenge of us as individuals to try to figure out how we do that. But again, it's not about, necessarily the destination, but it's about the journey and the focus. And you're always going to end up further ahead if you have that mindset of keeping out the negative thoughts and just going. And I'll tie it back as we close when I had to relearn how to walk when I was in rehab after my accident. And I didn't know if I'd ever walk. I knew I could stand and I knew I could take steps. So all I knew is that all I'm going to worry about today is taking the next step. So I'm going to do, if I did 10 steps yesterday, I'm going to try to do 15 today and just go through that. I'm not worried about whether I can walk a mile or I'll ever walk again, like for distance. I'm just going to do one. And I just walked up and down the halls of the hospital. And people are like, and then I'm doing two lengths, I'm doing 10 lengths, and then I'm doing, but the work is in the getting up and taking that first step. That's what it is. And the end result is now I'm, 90, well, my wife would say I'm like 40% there, but 99% back to normal. Right. But it started with just taking that first step. And I think that is the, thing I'd like to leave everybody with. Take that first step.
Holding the goals front and center.
Yeah.
Really painting a clear picture of what you see.
Well,
as
and it
your
talks about what you
future.
say. Well, what is the step to success? Like you can have the vision of what you want. I'm getting up this because if I do this effort now, I know that I'm going to be better off than if I didn't. So when you're down in the dumps, like I was last week, I knew like a cold plunge, and I bought myself a cold plunge, and I'm like, I just have to get into that cold plunge. And I just worked myself into the cold plunge. And then guess what? Everything else from the day forward was awesome because I started with that. But if I don't go in the cold plunge, like I'm probably in bed. I'm like, oh man, my whole day's wasted because I've allowed those negative thoughts and feelings to take over rather than just going, what is my one thing I can do today to get me on track?
It really feels like it's such a positive way to control your life and to kind of to gain that control of your life, because life can be chaotic. Things happen. But if you have that positive outlook, you're not leaving room for anything else, and you can just reap the rewards, it feels like. It's a great way to do business. It's a great way to live life. It's a great way to build a business too, especially from like the ground up like that. It's really positive. Very inspiring.
And you may not ever be Lululemon, but you're going to be significantly better than not following those strategies and that path, right? So it's really about, now I'm totally, normal, but maybe I would have ended up walking a mile and that would be it. But if I didn't get up and do that first step, I'd never walk a mile, right?
I'd walk a mile in your shoes.
What is that? Who is that band?
Is it Tracy Chapman?
No. There's that one. What was the name? It's Irish, right?
The Pogues or
is it the Pogues? I would walk 5,000 Proclaimers. I would walk 5,000 miles. All right. On that note, thank you, Damian. Good luck with your
Zamian,
stuff.
It was really great to meet you.
I just want to say thanks again so much for having me on your podcast. I really had a great time. It was awesome to meet you, Sam.
Yeah, really nice to meet you too.
Thanks so much, Kellen.
Dude,
really appreciate
I love it, and I love this philosophical stuff that we got into. I think it's
zen in the art of golf bag making.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I think that's the title of this episode: Zen in the art of golf bags.
Oh, I love that. I love it. Okay, let's do it.
I wonder who's paying attention to write the titles.
You.
Oh God, no.
Oh, it's Dan.
I thought it was Vivian.
No, Vivian. It's our other. We have another person in. We're a massive enterprise, just like Pacific Sunday Golf.
That's right.
Right.
Massive
enterprise. We have a whole team of people. So our design team will come up with the title, and
I can't wait for my good friend to hear about your
thanks,
products and see if he wants to get one.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll definitely pass it on to him.
Those interested, Pacific Sunday Tour, PacificSunday.ca is the website. Go check it out. And local Victoria entrepreneur Zamian Parsons.
Pacific Sunday Golf on Instagram as well.
Pacific Sunday Golf on Instagram. Follow.
Sounds
follow
like an
along.
easy follow.
Yep.
I love it.
Nice.
Thanks, you,
my
Damian.
friends.
Thank you, Sam.
Thanks, Kalen.
Another
You have
episode in the books.
Yeah, I know. What a great one. Nice guest, man.
Yeah,
good job.
He's okay.
Yeah, no, good
I mean, we'll
find.
wait till
Where,
we
where
bash
did you
him.
find him?
Well, he comes like I've known him for a while.
Okay, okay. You been hiding?
Well, I've been hiding
Hiding him.
him.
Kalen is so I have 3 biological siblings that are alive at the moment, and we're not that close, but Kalen's my my older brother, and he's essentially my favorite and one of my only family members left, so I really appreciate Kalen.
Wow.
There we are.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate him for other reasons, but that sounds really good. I love it.
I love you,
Kalen,
David.
I appreciate you. You have a great day.
Be real kind.
I will be. You be nice.
Thank you.
Oh my God, I forgot the
You
tagline.
don't want the tagline.
We're out.
We're out. Done. Cut that. Edit.
Bread and Butter Collective's membership includes the following local businesses: 2% Jazz, Bunny's Kitchen, Buzz Coffee House, Eagle-Ite, Big Wheel Burger, Blue Mountain Solutions, Bodega Tapas Wine Bar, Eva Schnitzel House, Farmsgate Foods and Catering, Victoria Chocolate and Company, Drum Roaster Coffee, Habit Coffee, Foo Asian Street Food, the Culinary Arts Program at Camosun, Cafe Fantastico, Fall Epi, Harold Street Brewworks, Hey Happy, House of Botang, Nikkei Ramen Ya, Jenny Marie's Cracker Company, La Pasta, La Rue Patisserie, Mocha House, Part and Parcel, Poco a Pinto Bar, Pizzeria Prima Strada, Keating Pizza, Roast, Table 9 Consulting, Sherwood Cafe and Bar, Sweets by Selena, The Collective Wine Bar and Kitchen, The Drake, Tapa Bar, The Nimble Bar Company, Ruth and Dean, The Whole Beast, The Wienery, Spoon's Diner, Truffles-inspired catering, and Zambries.
To hear more from the Bread and Butter Collective, go to checknews.ca/podcasts on Check Plus, or find us on your favorite podcasting platform.